here it is. Home sweet home, Mom. And you, of course, will be able to make yourself at home. It looks like my blind girlfriend, Doreen, is out. She may be blind, but she sure gets around. I can't wait until you meet her, Mom. You're going to love her. She's the first girl I haven't killed. Well, besides you, of course. Mom, I'm going to introduce you to Doreen as my long-lost cousin from Toledo, Elaine. I think that should work very well. As I say, it's my humble abode. It's not the fanciest apartment in the world, but it is nice, private, discreet, shall we say. I'm able to come and go as I please with a certain level of anonymity. It'll be nice keeping you here while I await the ransom money. Doreen's a good little cook. As I say, she might be blind, but boy, can that girl get around. So, Mom, I hope you like it here.
Oh, Eric, you don't have to do this. You don't have to keep me here. Forget about the ransom money. I can have one of my private jets deliver you to a place of safekeeping in Europe. You can take on a new identity and roam about freely. Count Pedestrian has large castles and mansions all over Europe in various countries. And Count Pedestrian owed my father many, many favors. He owes me a few favors as well. A simple phone call could arrange all of this.
Mom. Always the boardroom bargainer and wheeler dealer. You never helped me before. Well, I take that back. You did get Dr. Getrick to bring me back to life, after all. Tell you what, I actually liked your proposal, and since I have you as my prisoner, all the cards really are in my hand. Murgatroyd will be extremely hot now. Cops will be all over that warehouse. They're liable to even find and identify Sharon Cielo, your kidnapper. But Sharon by now has probably made a fast getaway. You know what? If I can take you and Doreen with me to Europe, we have a deal, Mom. After all, I need you for insurance. And I need her to fulfill my animal lust. Don't worry, Mom. I won't turn into another Jack the Ripper once I get to Europe. I've already been there, done that. Though I must admit, killing lovely young ladies will be a difficult habit to break. But I suppose with the millions of dollars you will be providing me, perhaps I can find a new hobby.
This is a CRZY News Bulletin. An abandoned warehouse in the old industrial district on the far north end of Murgatroyd was raided by police tonight, and evidence was discovered which confirms that kidnapped CEO Judy Vincini was indeed held captive there during the past 2 weeks. There was no one present in the building at the time Lieutenant Skitters conducted the raid, but evidence points to the involvement of at least one female kidnapper whose identity is being withheld at present pending further investigation. In other news, Vincini stock continues to plummet as the CEO remains missing. And next week at Quentin Memorial Stadium, Uncle Frank will be performing his new hit Just Over Broke to a packed audience, and ticket sales are brisk and are estimated to completely sell out within the next 24 hours. In local weather, the CRZY roving helicopter observes mild but cloudy conditions over the coming weekend and early next week.
Talk shoes. Recorded live.
Whether or not you believe in the weather or not, the eyes have it. Yes, at CRZY roving weather helicopter, we're watching for when it's cloudy. We're watching for when it's cold, and we're watching for when it's raining. Every little change in the weather will be reported to you the minute we find out about it. From the CRZY roving weather helicopter. Whether or not you believe in the weather or not, the eyes have it. Yes, the eyes of our weather watchers are always watching. So you tune in to CRZY TV or CRZY Radio for the latest weather update every day.
Lieutenant Skitters returning your call. Uncle Frank, you left a message indicating that you might have a tip, some information concerning the Judy Vincini kidnapping case.
Thank you, Lieutenant Skitters. This is Uncle Frank. All what I seen might not amount to a hill of beans, might not mean a thing, but I was down there, to the Super Deluxe grocery store the other night, where I shop all the time. And there's this gal in line in front of me, and she's a good-looking woman, too, but about half her face was covered up with some kind of little old mask or a veil or something or another, and she's wearing these long red gloves. And you know how unusual that is, seeing anybody with them long red gloves out shopping and all. And she just got upset and had a hissy fit when I was buying my wife Aunt Suki a bottle of that Slidette 3 cologne. And she just went off on how awful Judy Vincini was and how awful the company was and everything else. And she said Judy Vincini's number is up and something about karma and I don't know what all. And she just acted strange and got mad and just stormed out of there and just left there, and I didn't think anything of it. But then I listened to a lot of these call-in talk shows, and I remembered running into her before down there to the Super Deluxe, and we had talked before in line and all, and she was in a good mood that time. She recognized my voice from calling into those talk shows and all, and I recognized her, and of course she's talking about her face, getting damaged and all by that. You might remember that, the acid in the Vincini face cream and all a few years ago, when they had them Senate hearings and all this and that. So anyways, I got to thinking about it, and that old gal might have had something to do with that kidnapping. So I just thought I'd throw that out there. Now, I don't know what her name was. I didn't catch her name. But she's a tall, good-looking woman and all, and said something about you used to have a modeling career and what have you, and she had long, I believe her hair was brunette. Anyhow, I hope that helps, Lieutenant Skitters. If you need anything else, you've got my number, and just call me. Thank you. Thank you.
My God. That evil rich bitch somehow escaped and the cops descended on the warehouse. Glad I wasn't there when it went down. But nobody seems to know where she is. The news reports have her still missing and held. What the hell is going on? Lieutenant Skitters, what a dreadful creep, has somehow figured out that there was a female kidnapper involved, but I can't be sure how much more he knows. I can't go anywhere near that warehouse anytime soon, but I was careful not to leave any prints behind there. This could be a blessing in disguise in a certain sense. Since Judy Vincini wasn't there either when they raided the warehouse, she can't tell them who I am. The only explanation that makes any kind of sense at all is that someone figured out she was there and then they are now holding her. This means they will try to make a play for that ransom money. What to do, what to do? Well, one thing is for certain, there is no reason for me to stick around Murgatroyd. Even though I haven't yet been officially identified as a potential suspect by Lieutenant Skitters, it could still happen. There is one person in Murgatroyd who stood beside me as a close friend through the whole ordeal with my face being scarred. He hasn't seen me in years, but I have been following his career closely. I suppose it is time to pay him a visit. Maybe stay with him for a while. Maybe even travel with him to Europe, where he sometimes exhibits some of his works and has even sold a few.
I can't believe it's you. Oh my goodness, it's been so long since I've seen you. Where the hell have you been? I'm sure you've been seeing how that bitch, Imogene Slakowski, now Imogene Slakowski-Tomac, after her wedding to that sleazy reporter, was dissing my art left and right. And I'm sure you saw my images of Imogene exhibit. I guess I gave it to that bitch. But anyway, enough of you. Absolutely must stay here for a few days. I am getting bored to death. And I want you to accompany me to Europe. You will be my friend when I go pay a little special visit to Count Pedestrian, who unceremoniously kicked me out of his mansion here in Murgatroyd. I'm going to rub it in his nose, that vile lecher. At any rate, I hear Europe is so wonderful this time of year. Perhaps we should stop in Paris, France first, and then we can gallivant around Europe, have some fun. I'm just so glad to see you.
Murgatroyd is the man who can rebuild America. A man for the people, a man willing to protect the people and to protect past history from the tampering of time travelers. A man who wants to protect humanity from subhuman degenerates like artificially created life forms such as the wooden creature and Flashy the paper doll. If you vote to elect Senator Devane as your next president, you will not only be protecting Murgatroyd, you will be protecting American society and humanity itself. Senator Devane for president. The man who can protect
along with Flashy the paper doll, escaped through a time-flux energy field somehow generated by some kind of device, a time travel device. I want you to listen to me, people. People, this device poses a grave threat to humanity. This country, this world. And this device tampers with the natural flow of time. It is, in fact, an energy time flux device, and the intelligence that's been developed on it, I'm going to convene a Senate hearing into this device. Because you see, my fellow citizens, this device threatens the very integrity of your own existence and the very integrity of this timeline.
on our great European adventure. Oh Eric, I might be blind, but flying on a private jet for the first time is an experience I will never forget. Gosh, I only wish I could actually see the Big Ben in London or the Eiffel Tower in Paris, but I guess just hearing things will have to do. Your cousin Elaine from Toledo is absolutely adorable. And taking us on this vacation is such a sweet, kind thing for her to do. Oh Eric, we are so very, very lucky. I just might have such a great time that I never want to go back to Murgatroyd. Hi 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 hi.
Oh, my dear Doreen. I might feel the same way. I might find Europe so exciting that I never want to go back to Murgatroyd either. Of course, I've already done a little cutting up in London, but that was a different time. Way back in the day, as they say. Oh, yes. You're right about my dear sweet relative there. She's quite generous, and she can be extremely generous if the circumstances demand it. It's going to be so interesting to eat. To eat all this wonderful European food, to dine in such exquisite surroundings. Yes, indeed. You might not be able to see the Big Ben in London or the Eiffel Tower in Paris, but I'll describe them to you, my dear. We're going to have the time of our lives, and meeting Count Pedestrian and staying in one of Count Pedestrian's wonderful castles is certainly going to be such an exciting experience. What can I say? A once-in-a-lifetime getaway? Europe, here I come. It's not just an opinion, it's your opinion. Into opinion, radio, dodo. Tune into opinion, radio, go, 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 go. Welcome to Opinion Radio, where you can call in with your opinions.
Welcome to our show today, this week's edition of Opinion Radio, with your host Julie Etta Sidestepper. Call in your opinion about anything, any idea, any subject. This is where you can voice your opinion. And we have a caller on the line.
Hello there, Julie. It's Uncle Frank here. I was going to tell you about something kind of strange, kind of unusual and all that happened to me. You know, I live out there in the woods between Flat Town and Murgatroyd, you know, and all like that. And sometimes I got chickens out in the backyard, and I'll go out there in the woods, you know, and my shotgun if I hear something, you know, like a coyote or wolf or whatever, you know what I mean. And there's this little old creek that runs between the Mancini Cosmetic Corporation and that there biotech lab and all down there. Anyhow, I've seen some weird stuff out there, and I called one time and kind of talked about it, but something really odd that happened the other day. I was out there close to that creek, and I seen this little thing kind of slither up close to me. What I thought it was a snake, and all it looked like a snake, and I didn't know exactly what it was. And it looked straight up at me, and it talked to me. It said, "Hello, how are you?" I'm not used to seeing some kind of a snake talk to me and all, and they just I didn't know what to do about it. I don't want to tell Aunt Suki because she's scared to death of snakes. She'd be wanting to move if she knew it was out there behind us. So anyhow, I got in, got on Google and all, and looked up on the internet, and it turned out it was an eel. It wasn't a snake; it was an eel. But anyway, this little old thing, it talked to me, and that's the kind of weird stuff that's going on. Those old chemicals going down there at the biocheck lab, and there ain't no telling what else is out there in the woods. I've seen some weird stuff I ain't even gonna repeat. But I just thought I'd pass that along there to the listeners, Juliera. Thank you. Thank you.
Hospitality, Blatson, but I assure you the pleasure is all mine. I really needed a little spot to get away from it all, so to speak, and in a few days when we go to Europe that will even help me clear my mind even more. I am just afraid that you may not get the kind reception that you might like from Count Pedestrian with his elitist mentality. I will never forget a few years ago when I first started out as a model. I was at a party and Count Pedestrian and Judy Vincini were playing a little game with some of the other snobs there to see who could throw their ice cube into the punch bowl. Sort of a snob variation on the game of horseshoes, I guess. My impression of Count Pedestrian at that time was that he was a cross between pathetic and diabolical. And that can be a very dangerous combination. I might also add that the description also fits Judy Vincini very appropriately, and just look what happened to my face along with thousands of other women, and that rich bitch got away with it.
Oh, my dear Sharon. Believe me, I still have confidence right around my finger. I can use that poor pathetic bastard to do anything I ask him. And when I'm done with him, he'll be more than happy to have you and I both as guests in any of his many illustrious castles or mansions throughout Europe. I can only imagine he and Judy Vincini tossing ice cubes toward a punch bowl. That must have been hilarious. How on earth did you contain yourself? But yes, he has that elitist mentality. He has these delusions of one day ruling the world. I think he thinks Senator Devane will be his puppet here in the United States. As I say, the man has these grandiose schemes. What can I say? In a way, it's sort of a blessing in disguise, I guess, that he kicked me out of the mansion, because now here I am at the studio pursuing my art career, and who knows what other doors will open. Yes. A European vacation is exactly what you and I both need, and paying a little visit to the dear Count will add a little excitement to all of our worlds. Now, won't it, my dear Sharon? and its deep-seated superiority complex was beginning to resurface. When the band imitated Butterfly got a gig on a cruise ship, on a big Caribbean cruise, it was Floyd's great opportunity to do his solo. He'd worked in practice for 2 weeks. The captain and Tennille were going to play backup, and Edie Gourmet was going to sing a duet with him just before he performed his solo. But then at the last minute, not feeling very well, possibly from something she'd eaten on the ship, Edie Gourmet came to him, and Edie said, "Floyd, the song is off. The captain has left the ship. I don't guess we're going to be performing tonight." Floyd was crushed. His solo career was not going to take place that night because the captain and Tennille had already left the ship. So, there, docked at Hong Kong, Floyd went into a deep, deep-seated depression. It would be ages before he was to shake himself from this depression. In the meantime, the other band members, emaciated Butterfly, attempted to cheer him up by releasing a song that was dedicated to him. But Lloyd laughed out at all of them. He took the song as a meaning insult instead of the compliment for which it was intended. He thought it was an aspersion cast against him, referring to all the media rumors that he had a man crush on one of the other band members. But the song, Floydy, Floydy, Floyd, still became a top 40 #1 hit. Floydy, 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 Floyd, Floyd, my boy, you will always be my boy. Floyd, 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 till the sun turns into soy. Floyd, my boy, till the moon turns to bok choy. Floyd, 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 Floydy, 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 Floyd, Floyd, my boy, you will always be my boy. Floyd, 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 though it sometimes seems to annoy you, I know it will not destroy you. Floyd, 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 Floydy, 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 Floyd, Floyd, my boy, you'll forever be my boy. Floyd, 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 till the sun turns into soy. Floyd, my boy, till the moon turns to bok choy, 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 Floyd, 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 Floyd.
Pedestrian, I called you on your private line to let you know that we have all taken off on my private jet and should be arriving at the main castle in a few hours. My son Eric and his friend Doreen, she is blind of course, but I am absolutely certain that this will be an exciting trip for them, a getaway vacation of sorts. After recent weeks, I can definitely use a little vacation myself. Again, I want to thank you in advance for your hospitality and having us as your
Well, Judy didn't see me. Yes, the pleasure will be all mine. I look forward to having you, my dear, and your son Eric and his girlfriend here as a guest at the primary castle. I'm glad that you're coming on a private Vincini jet. You can land on the strip right behind the main castle. I am here at my primary residence, the primary castle tonight. We shall all have a wonderful dinner. I am sure two of you, all of you, will be tired from your long flight, and after a wonderful dinner tonight and some wonderful conversation and wine, and I'm sure Judy, that both you and your son Eric and his girlfriend Doreen will all wish to retire. We do have some other guests arriving in a few days. I think you may be familiar with Blatson, the artist. He has a girlfriend of some sort he's going to be bringing along with him, but they won't be here for a few days. So that will give you and your son Eric and his girlfriend Doreen time to settle in and become familiar with the castle. And again, Judy Vincini, it's going to be a pleasure having you here as a guest. And I trust your flight will be safe, and I look forward to your arrival in a few hours. Good evening, Judy. I'll see you very, very soon. Well now, it's Mr. Chadson Masterson. I understand you have this generalized, free-floating anxiety. It's plaguing you that you're suffering from. And I'd like for you to do, if you could, please, is to explain to me in detail how this generalized free-floating anxiety manifests itself. It just explain to me exactly what you're experiencing during the day, please. Well, Doc, it's like this. You know, when I'm about to leave the apartment and all, and I get worried, you know, that maybe there's somebody standing outside the door or something that's going to, like, jump me or attack me or mug me or kill me or something like this or whatever. So finally, when I get my apartment door open, and then I look down the stairs and I think, oh, geez, what if I slipped and fell and broke my neck or whatever? I mean, what if I was to fall on the way down the stairs? And so I grab a hold of the banister and I just slowly walk down. And I finally, when I get down to the front door, then I look both sides of the lobby. I think, what if there's some mugger here that's going to jump me, some stranger that's going to attack me or whatever? So finally, when I see that the coast is clear and maybe that the maid didn't accidentally, you know, forget to dry the floor after she mopped it. I mean, I could slip and fall and break my neck in the lobby too, you know, of course. But anyway, once I succeed in getting out the front door of the apartment building, then I look both ways because I know there could be someone there that's going to, like, attack me or mug me or kill me or rape me or rob me or whatever, you know. And so I look both ways just to make sure the coast is clear. And then finally I have to debate crossing the street. I mean, I don't see anything coming left or right, but I mean, what if a car suddenly careened at 70 miles an hour out of nowhere and was just strike me dead, you know, hit and run, splat, there I am lying on the sidewalk dead. And so I have to think a long time. And then I just slowly, carefully, gradually walk across from one side of the street to the other. And then once I make it over to the other side, and then I look both ways again to make sure everything's clear down the sidewalk. It's just sort of a free-floating anxiety. I worry, I'm nervous, I'm scared, I'm worried, I'm nervous. You know, it's just an all-day thing. It's 24/7. You know, even at night I have these dreams. There's these dreams. I just have these dreams. And of course, I'm terrified of cabs and terrified of subways. I mean, Who knows what kind of disease you could catch. I look up these tall buildings and I think, oh my God, what if a terrorist strikes again? This new stadium they built, the Quint Memorial Stadium. A friend of mine called me. They had free tickets to a Murgatroyd Players game. I was afraid to go. I mean, I thought, what if somebody yells fire and then everybody in the stadium starts to panic and run or get trampled or whatever? I could get trampled to death right there in Quint Memorial Stadium. I mean, you know, I can't help but think about these things. I think about these things. Doc, I hope you can help me. Please help me, Dr. Derrickson. Please help me. Judy Vincini, I am so glad that all of you had a very, very safe journey, that the flight was safe, and that you have arrived here safely at my primary castle. I trust that you're all tired from your long journey from the flight, so we will all go into the dining room. Caprice here, my butler, will take all of your luggage. I have assigned each of you a room. Judy, you will have your own magnificent suite, and your son Eric and his lovely fiancée Doreen, they will also have a suite next to yours. Caprice will take all of you down to the main dining room where we will dine by candlelight to a very elegant dinner. While you're here, all of the maids and servants will be at your disposal. They will be at your service, at your beck and call. So, I, Count Pedestrian, welcome all of you to my castle. Consider yourself at home.
I cannot tell you how much we all appreciate being your guests here. This is an absolute palace, as my father often told me. And this dinner here is exquisite, as is this vintage wine. You are a man of impeccable tastes, Count Pedestrian, and we are honored to be your guests.
Yes, Mom's right. You've got quite a place here, Count Pedestrian, and we're all very grateful to be here. Why, I could get lost in this big place. You hear that, Doreen? My fiancée is blind. Wouldn't want her bumping around in the castle at night getting lost now, would we? I'm sure she'll be staying with me, of course, but I'm going to be enjoying this place enormously. Again, Count Pedestrian, just like Mom said, I just love this huge, gigantic place. Something I gotta tell you, all. I want you to remain calm and don't get upset and don't get scared and none of that because of your nervous condition at all. I hadn't said anything the past few days, but you hadn't felt good. You've been staying inside, so you hadn't been out in the backyard. So before you go out there, I'm just trying to give you a little bit of warning now. Like I said, just stay calm. Don't let it rattle your cage and all. Well, anyhow, what I'm trying to get at is that foot of Flashy's foot out there, well, it done growed. At first it growed a calf, so then it was just about a half leg, and that was just a few days ago and all, and now it was a full leg, yesterday. Now there's 2 legs out there. And last time I looked, it was upside down, just sticking out of the ground. I don't know if it was taking a nap or what. I don't know if paper doll legs have to sleep or what. And, of course, they don't eat anything. I mean, legs can't eat. At least I've never seen legs eat. And all, I guess they must just be absorbing energy through osmosis or what have you. Anyhow, they're not bothering anybody. They're just still out there in the backyard and all. And chickens, of course, are scared of them. It's to be expected. But they're not bothering the cat. I don't think the cat knows what to make of them. And the dog just sits and stares at them. They just, neither the cat or dog, neither one's afraid of them. I'm not afraid of them either. I mean, what are a couple of legs going to do? Run from me, try to kick me? Anyhow, it's Flashy's legs out there now, so just listen. Don't let it upset you as long as we don't have some old nosy neighbor with a pair of binoculars, and we're not going to have any issues out of this. Now, I don't know when they'll stop growing if they do. Heck, they might grow into another Flashy out there in the backyard, and then I'm really going to have to contact that biotech lab and all. I ain't going back down there, though, after I've seen all them Secret Service and FBI and all that around the place there. I told you about that old eel the other day that talked to me that's out in the woods. I'm telling you, I don't know what's going on down there at that biotech lab, but I ain't trying to find out. Anyhow, we're just going to keep these legs out here in the backyard, and I'm just letting you know, Aunt Susie, so you don't have a heart attack or a nervous breakdown and all. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, Doreen. Such a shame that you're blind. You can't enjoy this beautiful artwork that Count Pedestrian III has adorned his castle with. Our room is wonderful. What a magnificent suite it is. It's such a comfortable bed, my dear, but you must allow me. You know how I like to roam at night. And you, my dear, being blind, will have to accompany me while I explore this castle. Just look at the magnificent paintings on the wall. Of course, you can't see them, my dear, being blind. I'm so sorry. At any rate, these are works from all over Europe. Yes, our dear host, Count Pedestrian III, inherited these magnificent works of art from his father, Count Pedestrian II, who stole these European treasures from all over Europe during World War II. You're seeing priceless pieces of art. Nothing like that trash our local Blatzenbeck and Murgatroyd puts out. My dear, there's secret rooms all over this place, behind bookcases. Why, anyone could hide out indefinitely in this castle. Probably more than 200 rooms. What a magnificent place. Yes. I enjoy being a guest in the castle of Count Pedestrian III. Of course, you know, we will from time to time still have to take an evening stroll away from the castle. Wonder if there's any innocent young damsels in the villages nearby. Oh, well, you wouldn't know what I mean by that, Doreen. Perhaps we shall just relax here. Though the Count was quite clear that in a few days there are some more guests arriving. I wonder who they might be. Well, it shall be interesting to meet and encounter the new guests when they arrive. most incredible inspiration to me, staying here with me and visiting with me here in the studio while we plan our wonderful surprise trip to see Count Pedestrian. And I'm going to ship some of my art in advance to Europe. We're going to put on a big show over there. Yes, 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 you were my inspiration, Dad, in recent events. You see, my dear, I've been doing a lot of thinking, and I suppose you've noticed all this work I've been doing the past few days while you've been here. Between the wine and the music and the song and our wonderful, wonderful conversations, I've been able to belt out a few pieces based on the Murgatroyd serial killer's work. Yes, 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 yes. My next show is going to be based on the Murgatroyd serial killer. Yes. I've thought about doing this collage of the faces and bodies of his victims and stuff, but I thought that would be considered in bad taste. I mean, the families of the victims might object or something. You know how sensitive and finicky people can be. But the art world might very well like it. Who knows? At any rate, I've just simply taken images of the Murgatroyd serial killer, and done different artistic things with them that were just, oh, God, I was inspired. This is going to be a smash hit. I just can't wait until we get to Europe and I have beheld my pieces over there. Jeez, this may be the best show I've ever put on yet. Yes, yes. Watson does the Murgatroyd serial killer. The Murgatroyd serial killer by Blatson. Ah, yes. We'll get international headlines. I'll be more famous than Andy Warhol at his height. Oh, it's just wonderful, Sharon. It's just wonderful.
Oh man, dude, I am just so glad to have a day off from delivering pizza and all. I mean, the tips and stuff. I mean, the tips are totally cool, but it's I need time to skateboard and stuff just to clear my mind and all. Get out of Murgatroyd, get out into the woods down there by the creek. I mean, I like skateboarding those trails. It really clears my head when I can just skateboard, and all. And I love going to the trails are.
Hi, my name is Slippy. I'm Slippy Eel. The Zombie Eel. Yeah, I'm an eel that can talk. I've just been slithering around back and forth down the creek. Some old man with a shotgun was out here threatening me. He thought I was a snake at first until I told him, I'm Slippy Eel. And then he looked at me kind of funny and just turned and walked off, and I slithered back into the creek. That's all I do, I just slither up and down the creek and through the woods. So I'm just definitely ready for adventure. I'm ready to get out of the woods. Thank you.
Whoa. You're like this talking eel, man. This is cool. I'm taking you with me. You're going to my aquarium. Shoot. I'll really be popular with all the girls at school now. I mean, I'll be the only one in high school with a talking eel. I get on the phone and call my friends, man. I'm going to call everybody up and tell them I've got this talking eel. You're fixing to be mine. You're going to be in my aquarium, I'm going to show you off everywhere. You're my
Dear son Eric, Count Pedestrian informed me that in a few days we will be having guests arriving here at the castle. He told me Blatzen the artist is flying over with a girlfriend. I want you to be on your best behavior, my son, after all we are guests here you know. And this castle is big enough for all of us. Keep in mind that Blatzen used to live with Count Pedestrian for quite some time at his mansion back in Murgatroyd, so perhaps the two of them are seeking a reconciliation of some kind. I am only asking that you be polite to Blatzen and whoever the young lady may be who is accompanying him during their stay here at the castle. Thank you, Eric.
Also in international news today, the artist Blatzen of the city of Murgatroyd in the United States has announced that he is about to launch a European art exhibit that will move from one major European city to another. First the exhibit will appear in Paris, France for a few weeks, then Rome, Italy and then on to another great city to be determined at a later time. The exhibit by Blatzen is entitled The Murgatroyd Serial Killer and is based upon exactly what the title implies. Whereas some art critics are already disclaiming the exhibit as sensationalistic exploitation, it remains to be seen what the overall response of the art world will be. In other news today, Vince's stock has begun climbing once again as sales of the new cologne Sladette 3 continues to soar both in the U.S. as well as abroad.
Well, thank God for satellite television and satellite radio. That sniveling little arrogant, insolent snob with his nose in the air, so-called art off my work, coming to Europe on tour with his little art exhibit entitled The Murgatroyd Serial Killer. So he's going to become even more famous and rich off of my work. I got news for him. He'd have been easy to dissect while I was still there in Murgatroyd. I do have my own inspiration. He's been inspired. I'll let him become one of my works of art then. Where to do it, where to do it, where to do it. I did admire Thomas Harris's work, and of course the wonderful film adaptation that Sir Anthony Hopkins did. And that was in Italy, of course. Yes. When you took care of that inspector. Where? I really don't want to, being a guest here at Count Pedestrian's castle, it would be important to bloody one of these rooms up. European landmark. That will be the site of Blatzen's demise. Yes, indeed. It'll make international headlines. Of course, they won't know it's me, not immediately, of course, unless I decide to somehow inform them later on. At any rate, tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. Time is running out for you, Blatzen.
Humilla's son here at CRZY News, and we are now taking you back to the live Senate hearings and to the energy time flux device, and we understand that Senator Devane will be questioning Dr. Reeb Summer, who has been in protective custody since the seizure of the device by federal agencies. and we take you to the hearings now.
So let me get this straight for the record here. This biotech lab with which you're employed, ma'am, not only manufactures artificial life forms using human DNA, such as Flashy the paper doll and this wooden creature which just tore up and destroyed the city of Murgatroyd, but in addition to that, you also come into possession of a energy time flux device which we now have seized and have in our possession. Now, I understand that our Dr. Derrickson of Murgatroyd, who has unfortunately suffered from a heart attack and is recuperating, that it fell to your lab to take over the energy time flux device, and that Dr. Gatrick is conspicuously absent from these hearings. Is it correct, ma'am, that you've been employed there for a number of years, and is it correct, ma'am, that your name is Dr. Janet Reebsummer?
Yes, sir, Senator Devane, that is correct. My name is indeed Dr. Jacqueline Reebsummer, and I have been employed with the biotech lab for the past 7 years. I regret to tell you that Dr. Gatrick making an appearance here before this Senate hearing will be impossible, as he is not currently in our present time period. I regret that I am unable to tell you exactly what time period he is in because your Gestapo agents came and seized the time energy flux device, which of course now makes it impossible for me to determine where Dr. Gatrick is. I intend to plead the Fifth Amendment on nay and all subsequent questions which you may direct towards me, Senator Devane. Thank you very much.